launching the Rest and Relaxation Kit, and in this portion of the video I want to show you, I'm just going to quickly show you the darling, doesn't it look like a little beach bag? That's what Justine and I decided we wanted to make. And so let me walk you through the parts you need to cut and what it looks like. So I added a button as a closure with an elastic string on mine. These are, what do you need to make this? Let me go backwards for a second. Okay, so what you need is you need to go buy those gift bags, brown gift bags that they have at Dollar Tree. You get 3 for $1.25. You need 2 manila file folders. You need a cutting board. You need a bone folder. You definitely need a ruler for this one. And when we put it together, you'll need a stapler. I stapled it. You don't have to staple it, but that's just, I'm going to show you the way I made it. So this is all a suggestion on how to make the kit. So let's look at this journal. It's just absolutely darling. So here is from the one flap. I made a very small flap. If I were going to do it again, and I'm going to tell you to probably make it a little bit different, and I'll walk you through those directions. And then there's this section, and this actually folds out like that so that you have 1, 2, 3 panels on this side, and then when you turn it over, you get the other 3 panels. So there's 6 panels, okay? Then you flip that over, and then here is, then there's another little section that's right here, and that just opens like that, so it's a 2-part, so that's the next section. And then on this, I thought, there we go. I'll get this right yet as I'm folding this with you. Yeah, I'll get it. So this is the next section. There's 4 pages there, 4 panels. And then this one, I made to open up that way, and then it's folded into here. Now you could do a lot of different things with this. Again, this is the suggestion of what I made. I ended up gluing the whole thing down, although I made it so it was lots of parts, and I put it together like that. And then there's this beautiful page in the kit that you can use that just perfectly fits on the cover, and obviously left the handles on it. Okay, so let me walk you through your cuts that you need to make. So I'm going to set that aside for a second. Well, actually, you know what? I'll put it over here. So we've got your bag, and basically you're just going to fold the bag in. You will be closing this up, but I don't want you to glue this together until you decide if you are going to use an elastic piece like I did. Then you would put the elastic piece in, and then you're going to close that up. Okay, so we've got the bag folded, and when folded, this bag measures 7 by 5. Okay, and so there's 1 panel here, there's 2 parts that go in the middle, and then there's another part that fits over there that I just showed you. So let's start cutting those pieces. So you take your first manila folder, and I got to go back to my notes because I made this a couple of weeks ago, and now I'm showing you. The first piece is the one that is going to be like this. It's going to give you all those folds. So it's actually pretty easy. The first thing that you want to do is you want to take it and measure. We're going to use the fold, so we don't want to cut off the fold. I'm sorry, trying to do this and keep it in camera. Let me move these things away. That'll make it a little bit easier. Oh, okay. So what I did on this is I measured up 6 and line or 2 past the 6 1/4, and just drew a line there. Did the same thing over here. Okay. Then you're going to use your cutter, and we're going to cut that part. And so as I said, it's just a little bit more than 6 1/4. So here is your piece. So it doesn't matter what kind of tabs were on your manila folder, where the tabs were, it really won't matter. So see how that's the first one. Now what we're going to do is you're going to open this up, and let me move it back into frame. You're going to fold into the center. So you're going to fold to your original line. Okay, so we've got that one folded in, and this one's going to be folded in, and it's actually going to be a little bit wider. Did I decide to do it that way? Hold on one second. Let me just make sure. I think I did do it that way. Okay, so we're gonna fold this one in. Oh, I know why it's sticking out. Is because of that tab. So I'm gonna actually move the line up to the half and forget the tab on this. That's what I did. That's why it looked different than the other one I just did. Okay, and so that's not going to close. So what I'll have to do is I'm just gonna trim that tab off, and then make sure that I have it folded correctly, because it kind of looks like I didn't fold it straight. And manila folders are forgiving, so you've got that. Okay, so there's your first, this is the first section. And the way I put it in so that I could do all this folding in and out. So you've got your number one, let me mark number one. Okay, so the number one's done. Now with this piece that's left over, remember we just cut this off. We're going to take this. This is gonna be the very back panel. Let me get this back again. This piece is going to work for this, because see how we used it this way? So we're going to put the fold to the top. And let me get my notes. Okay, and we're gonna, first of all, trim the width to 4 1/2. Okay, so this I don't have to measure. I can just use my cutting board. 4 1/2 I just said. Okay, we're gonna go to 4 1/2, and now it's trimmed. Okay, and then the next thing that we're going to do is the whole length of this can only be 7, right? So what I'm going to do is make some marks on here. I'm going to make a mark here for 7, here for 7, and then on the back I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a mark at 7, just so I always have 2. Okay. On this back part, we are going to fold in to make a pocket. Let's move that up to that where that line is. Okay, that's why I have 2 lines right there. So we're going to do that. And all this is going to be covered by paper, so you can mark all over it. Okay, then you're going to flip this one over. Obviously, this is way too long, so you have a couple choices. I'm just going to trim this off, but another way is you could fold this and have an extra fold on the top. I'm not going to do that for this, but again, be creative. Make your own little version, okay? So now we've got this. This is the fold, so that's the very back panel. So that's number 2. So we've got those done. And of course, where did I just put it? I've got so many around here. There's my number 1, there's my number 2. Okay, for the next panel, you need the second manila folder, okay? And what we're going to do on that one is we are going to cut it 6 1/8 inches tall from the fold. So you want to have the fold, I have the fold on my left, right? We're going to make it 6 and, as I said, 6 and a little bit past 1/4, 6 1/4. The line past 6 1/4. I don't know what that is. I don't remember that. I just know where it is. Okay, so there's that. We're going to trim that, right? We'll trim that back. And then this is just an extra piece, which we're going to use for the front. So I'm going to set that right there for now. Okay, let's move this over. Now, what we're going to do on this one is we're going to fold in again, okay? Now here's going to be the problem. We've got those tabs. I'm going to trim off the tab because we're not going to use it on this part. So that way when I'm folding in, I'm getting directly to the original fold line, which is perfect. And then we're going to take this side and fold it in. But the problem is we've got the tab there also. So let's trim that off. So that's gone. And what you want to do now is actually you want to fold it like this, right? I just did the fold like that. And then you want to fold this backwards right on that fold line. You'll understand why once I get this put together. That's close enough. Okay, and now it's still a little bit too big. So you're going to trim that off. So the next section inside that little book, in my book, is just 1, 2. And I added this and left this on for you because I think this would be much more fun to do, okay? So let's just leave this for now, and then as we go through the book and then we start covering the papers, then you will understand. So this is part number 3. Okay, so there are your parts all cut up. You've got your bag, and next we will begin to assemble. So let's begin to assemble that extra piece from the second file folder that we have. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do it differently than I did in the original, because after I made it, covered the pages, then I realized I didn't really like this. You really only need one of these sections. Okay, so let's trim that. So I'm gonna get my scissors. Hold on, I'll get this in my head yet. Okay, this is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna trim where the fold is. Okay, I'm gonna trim where the fold is. This is 4 inches wide. This is the bottom pocket. Now, you can do a couple different things here. I could cut this right here and have a pocket right into there, which is probably smarter than the way I did it, and then just have the flap on top. Let's do it that way, because I didn't do it that way on the demo that I made. So I'm going to do it that way this time. So see how I'm just trimming slightly off? I'm opening it up is what I'm doing. Okay. So now I've got it opened up. That will be a really nice pocket. So we're going to glue these parts down so that it's a good pocket that you can slide into and out of. And this extra piece, I'm going to trim it so that it fits right on there. And when you go to put that on, then you could have 2 pockets right here, which is what I think I'm suggesting. So there's that, and then we know it's 4 inches wide. So let's go ahead. Sorry, I think I have all this space, and then I realize I am not in camera. Let's trim it like that. Okay, let me get my cutting board again. So I'm going to trim that right where I did 4. And then I already marked where it needed to be trimmed at the bottom. Okay, whoops. Okay, so I've got that ready. So here's my plan. Oh, I made it too wide, actually. Oh, because I cut yeah, see, I cut it open and I forgot. Okay, let's just trim that a little bit more. Let's just take off slightly. Now, yes, see, now that fits on there. So my plan now is to make this a pocket here, and also to have this as a pocket, right? And then I may just glue that down, or the problem is this is just so tiny, it's really not a pocket. So that's the plan that I have for right now. So I'm going to go ahead. And what would be easier is to cover this with the paper before I glue it on. So I'm not going to glue that one on right this minute. Okay, I just want to show you how to assemble the journal. So that one will be there. Okay, the main part of the journal is going to be right here. And what I did on that one is I'm going to show you again. So it's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 panels, right? I stapled it at the last panel, and then I refolded it that way. So that's what I want to do with this. Okay, so I'm going to refold it. So I could start it like that and pull it out if I wanted to. Let's see. Oh, maybe I think I want to do it this way. Here, let's staple that last one. Then this, Nope, hold on, I'm gonna get it yet. See, I had to keep doing it differently. There we go. So I make it an accordion that way, okay? And what I will then do is I will staple this into there. There we go. Now that will work. And then this one will go over. Yes, that will work. Now, I'm fine on leaving this brown because it's rest and relaxation. That's sand color to me. So if you're not, then you might want to stop and cover all your papers first. I'm showing you how to assemble the journal at this point. So this one is going to go in right there, and it goes just like that, right? So I am going to staple that. And if you have one of those articulating ones like this, it'll make your life easy. This is an old close to my heart, okay? And so I'm going to just go ahead and staple that there, and this is tiny enough that it works. If you don't have a stapler like this, I will show you in 1 second. I just bought myself the new long arm one off of Amazon. I think it was $10. And this is gonna be great because this, you can see, only works on small things, okay? So now I've got that part in. That's ready to go. And then the next section is this other tri-folding thing that we did, okay? So I'm thinking, let's see, how do I want this one to go? I was thinking about attaching it at that fold. Then if I do, I could go like this, which would go like that, and all the way out. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Now this is different than my first one here, okay? So, like I said, I realized, you know, once you make something and then you remake it, and you go like, oh, I should have done, so that's what I'm doing now. So I am going to staple this section in on the first one. You see how I'm doing that? Okay, it's gonna be right there. So we're gonna do the same thing. And the cool part about stapling this is you're noticing we're doing it all before I cover the back, which is exactly the easiest way to do it, because now your staples will be underneath your paper that you cover the journal with. Okay, that is looking good. So we've got lots of pockets now. There we go. Now this one, you might not like that it's that wide. That's up to you. You can always trim it. I'm gonna leave mine for right now. Once I start adding my papers, then I'll decide if I wanna do that. And then the last one that we cut, this is the fold up with the fold right here. And this will just be glued. Okay, so this is a simple one. Now, I'm not gonna glue that one because I find it's just a lot easier to go ahead and cover it with my papers, and then when I'm ready, then I just glue this back on. It's just a lot easier to have it outside of the little journal. So what we have, let's just walk through this. I'm gonna take some of my, oh yes, okay, they don't want to come out. Some of my paper clips. This one will be here. And as I said, I'm going to put this in as a pocket here and then a pocket into the envelope. There's that one, which we just made it to come all the way, which is really fun. And then I made this one to open that way, open out, and open out again. And then this one will be right there, okay? So one of the things that I wanted to just tell you, there's 10 Bible verses in this study. So to me, you need at least 10 panels, 10 spots to put all your journaling. So let's go ahead and count and see how many we have. You can always add another page when you need it. So I've got this. I'm not saying I would write on it, however, with the pocket. So I'm going to count that one as one spot. So there's 2 pockets, right? So there's 2. Then this could be panel 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we have 18. 19 if you want, or just a cover, and then you have 20. So I have 20 spots in this journal now, and I think that's plenty. Okay, so this looks like a giant mess, but it actually isn't. So the next step in creating a journal, I'm sharing my process with you. Obviously, I go ahead and print the entire kit, and I print on matte photo paper. I also have a matte photo paper that's a cardstock weight, that's 48 pound from Koala on Amazon. So I usually print the ATC cards with the Bible verses on that 48 pound paper. So I've printed everything, and then I sit here and I trim out all my pages because I don't have a printer that prints to the edge. So if you're like me, then you have to sit here and do all that. So I've gone ahead and I've prepped everything. Now my philosophy is this. I want to spend the time in the Bible study part of it. I love making the journal, not saying I don't. I just want everything ready. I'm not the one that just prints it and then says, oh, I'll cut this and I'll cut that. To me, it takes me 10 times, way too long. So all my papers are ready. I've gone ahead and printed. When you get the kit, you'll notice that I've put 2 of these these focal points on one page like that. So I've gone ahead and trimmed all those out, and the journal that we're making fits this size. So I created this kit based on making this size journal. So everything is ready for that. Then I've gone ahead and cut out almost all of my ephemera, and there's a few things I just want to show you. This page I printed, this is all one page. I printed this on the heavy 48 pound cardstock. I've gone ahead and cut it out. And I do this now. I sit there and I edge everything. Now this is a great thing to do when you're sitting in front of the TV at night, prepping your kit. So that's all done like that. I did the same thing with all the other parts. Everything is cut out and everything is edged, so it's all ready. I printed the postcards, of which there are 6 in this kit, on that 48 pound. So it really is like a cardstock. They are all cut out, they are all edged. I've gone ahead and printed out this page with these other tags, these plain tags and all this fun stuff. Again, trimmed everything out, edged it all, so it's all sitting here in a big old pile. Okay, so I'm ready, ready, ready. 2 things I wanted to teach you, a little hint. In my Bible study kits, I usually choose 10 Bible verses as a max for that whatever topic it is. And I put them on these ATC cards. An ATC is an artist trading size, artist trading card. That is a 2.5 by 3.5, or in the old days, a baseball card, or it's actually a playing card size, okay? So when you see them on the page, you're gonna see that they have rounded corners. And a lot of people say, well, how do you get yours so nice? So here's my secret. What I do is I go ahead and go ahead and cut them. And you see how I've cut it in a square. I don't take my scissors and round that. I cut them all in little rectangles. Sit there with a pile. Then I take my corner rounder, and I have a We Are Memory Keepers one, and it's got a 1/2 inch and a 1/4 inch. And on the ATC cards, the 1/2 inch is the perfect size. So once I've cut it out, I go around, that's why I do them in a pile, and I go ahead and round all the corners. And now, see, it's perfect. You don't have to sit there with your scissors and then every edge is totally different. So that's one of my secrets. Cut them out as rectangles and then use a corner rounder to make your corners. And then that way, when I have them in a stack, they are like a deck of cards. They're all, the corners are all exactly the same. So that's one of my tips on that. Let me just edge these, and then these 2 are done. Okay. The next thing that's in a lot of my kits, this comes on one page, and you get to make this really fun little folded where you have 1, 2, you have 4 spots, right? And so here it is as an example that I did that. And again, I have it all done and ready to go because I want to be able to just put it in my journal. So the directions, well, there's no directions. You just cut it all out and you'll notice which one is the tallest one and which way they go. So that is all ready for me to do. Another thing that I put in a lot of my kits, I have this as a template, is this cute little small envelope, right? So you're just going to trim it all around with your scissors. Now you're going to end up folding it, and it becomes this cute little, as I said, small envelope. What I always do, again in preparation, is I printed on that cardstock that I just mentioned. I'm going to turn these over, because when you fold this, you're going to open it and you're going to see just white, which is really not what I want to see. Let me move this so you can see. So I take some of my hymnal papers, you know, because if you have an old hymnal, you can usually, I was just at a thrift store on Saturday and they had some in there. So if you don't have one, you can always try there. And I coffee dye it. So these have all been coffee dyed. And what I do is again, I'm kind of in like the mass making type of mentality as I'm prepping a kit. So I go ahead and put the glue on. I'm a glue and then trim girl. And so I'm going to just set that on there. I'm going to flip it over, and here's my trimming. I'm going to just trim it all out. Trims up pretty quickly and easily. So you've made this really cute little envelope. And if you wanted to, you could print an extra one, cut it out on cardstock, and have it as a template, because I end up using it as a template within a digital kit, and I put the papers that coordinate with the kit in mine. And then, as you can see from this one, I ended up putting some words on this so that it fits the whole, fits this kit. So I would say this takes about an hour, hour and a half to get all of your parts ready. That's my process. That may not be your process, and you say, Diane, I don't want to do all that. You could do it your way. I'm just showing you how I do things. So there's that one, and then you fold it, and you know where to fold it because the black lines are there. So you're going to fold it there, run your bone folder on it. You're going to bring this over, and I'm doing this and it's still wet glue, so hopefully I don't destroy it. You're going to fold it back right where the black line is. So I'm folding it and showing it to you, but I'm going to open it back up because I want the glue to dry. So that one's all ready. So see how nice that is when you open it up? Yes, it's so pretty. So once I edge this, let's edge it, then it is all done and ready to go. So leave me a comment. Tell me, are you a get it all ready first person and create your journal? Or are you a person who cuts things out as you're going along? And neither one is right or wrong. It is about what's comfortable for you. Okay, let's put the glue on this second one. You usually get two in one of my kits. They're almost in almost all my kits. I just like this template. It's just a little fun tuck spot. I'm going to use this. This is the words to a song. We'll put that on this one. Let me use my bigger scissors. Trim this out, and then we'll be all ready. I think you're going to love this Bible study. Of course, I say that about all mine, but you have to understand, this is my ministry. So let's start with that. This is my ministry. My ministry is sharing God's Word, actual God's Word, okay, from the Bible verses, and creating a piece of a wonderful legacy piece that I can look back and say, yeah, I did a study on rest and relaxation. Oh, I did a study on amazing number patterns. Oh, I did a study of joy. And these are such wonderful, they're pretty, of course they're pretty, because that's what makes it fun to make all this. But it's a legacy of my time spent in God's Word. And that's what I am commanded to do as a Christian. I'm commanded to spend time in God's Word, not just having other people read it to me. So as I'm going along in this Bible study for this particular kit, I always challenge you and tell you, I want you to look up those verses. Don't just rely on what Diane said, because we are to discern. You want to, you don't want to put my thoughts in your brain if my thoughts are incorrect. I work very hard at not sharing incorrect information or leading you into mysticism or New Age thinking. I came out of that. I was caught up in that whole, it's all about how I feel and breath prayers and all that. And I know all that is not of God. It is not in the Bible. So you're not going to hear me telling you any of that. So there's my two little envelopes. So they're all ready. What I've done is I showed you how to staple in those the sections. And actually, as I'm sitting here getting ready to cover them, I removed them because I just realized it's so much easier. So I am basically going to set aside the little paper bag for a couple seconds. But I wanted to say, I also showed you how I cut everything out of the kit prior to using it. The last thing I don't cut out is all the little tiny parts like this, because sometimes I don't even ever use them. And so then why would I cut them out? And this other, I gave you a page, and these are really pretty little like landscape things that are just really fun, you know, pictures of being at the beach. You can see I just have them squared. So the other thing that I do is I get a plastic bin. I have a whole bunch of these. And when I'm working on a kit, I put everything in here so that if I have to walk away or start working on something else, it's all in the same spot. So all the parts, the ephemera that I showed you, are sitting in here and they're ready to go. The background pages are out here, right here, and things like that. Oh, I didn't show you this. Okay, well, we'll do that later. I was gonna show you how to make this trifold, that we can do that separately. And I also don't cut out these words until I go to use them, because you'll see is I don't cut every single word out. I just go and cut out the one word, the one sentence or group of words that I want to use on that page. So I will set those aside. This I'm going to make for my cover, as I did on the other template that I made. So I'm going to leave that till last, because you'll see that I want to make all the guts and staple it back in and put some other things in the paper bag before I add that last page. And then these, I just trimmed off all my whites, right? And they're sitting here ready to, whether I use one piece or piece of a corner. I created that so that you got lots of plain backgrounds, because what you'll find is if you use all of the focal point pages, what happens is when you go to do a study or something, look, you end up covering it all up, right? You don't even see those beautiful backgrounds. Like, see this one I love with the boat? Totally got covered up. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just trying to teach you some ideas about design. So that's why I have this background on here, because I know that in this little type of a journal, I am going to put a lot of things. But here's an example where this whole page is the page with the boats on the sand. And so what I did was I took a second piece of paper, I printed that paper twice, and then I used some leftover papers from something else and made a belly band and used the exact same print on there so that you could see that, and then I tucked things underneath. So see, I did the same thing on this. I added this on the back of it, you know, cutting it out and framing it. Same thing on this belly band. I wanted to add the bird, even though the background of this is another really nice piece. So again, nothing's right or wrong. It's so pleasing overall that you get to see all these really beautiful beach pictures, and then I, you know, put that in there like that, okay?